So today we have on the show Laura Hernandez. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So Laura is the founder of Mama Systems, a coaching business that helps moms live more peaceful and intentional lives with their people. Laura lives in the Dallas area with her husband and their 10 amazing children. Today, Laura and I will be chatting all about having systems in place so that we can bring peace and joy to our home and have more time for self-care, creative pursuits, and fun. So,
Sounds so great.
so let's just, before we dive into systems, share with us a little bit about your journey and what got you to be where you are today.
Yeah. So, in a 6-month period, my husband and I had our fifth biological child, and then we moved across the country and adopted a sibling group of 3. And there's a whole backstory to that we can share at another day. But point is, in 6 months, we went from having 4 kids to 8 kids, and the 3 that we adopted had special needs, and along with our cross-country move. And then we had their little sibling for a hot minute in there as well. He was a newborn, and so he came to live with us. So we had, not counting the little sibling, we had 5, 4 and under, all in diapers.
Holy
And
smokes.
yeah, kind of how I was living, right? Just kind of like wide-eyed and, oh my gosh, we're crazy. Survival mode all the way. I remember giving myself pep talks to get to the end of the day, because if I could just keep everybody alive, that is what I was going for, right? And so finally got to a point where I was like, we can't live this way. Like these, sometimes I don't know about you, but when you have people drop kids off at your home and you're going to help watch them or, hang out with them for a little while, that's kind of what fostering felt like sometimes, that people just dropped off kids and they were never coming back to get them. And so it was just a very adjusting kind of period, but finally came to the realization that these children are not going anywhere and I need to come up with a system to live life. I looked everywhere, books, podcasts, everything. And I could not find a single thing that fit our very unique family of, hey, you have 8 kids, some have special needs, you have therapists in and out of your home, you have caseworkers in and out of your home, like all the little things that made us so unique. Nobody had a system for. And so I finally had to just create our own process to figure out what systems we needed in place in our homes. And after that, oh my goodness, we had peace in our home. And even now there's days where I'm like, I put my feet up at the end of the day and the house is clean and kids are calmly doing stuff. And it feels like magic because there's 10 children and it should feel chaotic, right? But it's not. And so after I've experienced that, I wanted to help other moms put systems in place that are customized for their families, because nothing fits everybody, right? So
Right.
that's what I get to do now, and I love it.
I love that, because I did peek around your website and everything, and I watched some videos and I was like, oh, this mom's got it together. Like it did seem like that you had these systems in place and it sounded like there was a lot of those unique unique stressors and things that, that may not fit everybody's family, but you were able to make it fit yours. And now that you help other moms create these systems, it just seems like it would be definitely something that's needed.
Yes, it is. And
we went from 2 kids to 4 kids because we had twins, but I couldn't imagine going from
yes.
4 to 8. that would have blew my mind. So, yeah. And I'm sure you get it all the time. Like, how do you do it? Because it is a lot. It is a lot.
It is. And my answer to that would be systems and a lot of help.
Yeah. So give us just kind of a bird's eye view or a general overview of what kind of systems do you have set up? Or when you say systems, what does that mean?
The definition.
Yeah.
Anything that you can set up in your life that takes the brain work off of you. It's that simple.
So give us some examples.
This could be an Alexa alarm that's reminding you to pick up kids at a certain time, which is kind of a very simple thing, but having those alarms and using your devices, oh my goodness, you're not having to remember those things. You're not having to constantly look at your watch and distract yourself from what you're doing, but you can trust those systems that you set up in place to do all the reminding for you. So meal planning is an amazing one that we all need in our lives. Even if we don't think we need it, we do need it. I love to talk about batch working. So I love to help moms put together batching days, just like we're doing a laundry day or we're doing an office day, when you're sitting down for a certain amount of time and you're just focusing on that one task. And this helps eliminate distractions. It helps you really focus on that task and get things done. I love to help put in chore systems and create rhythms and routines for moms so that they can really feel like they can live their life. Like I know that whenever I have things planned and organized, I have those systems in place. I know laundry's going to get done. I know that the trash is going to be taken out or whatever that is. I'm not constantly thinking about it. And I'm not constantly stressed about how it's all going to get done, but I have a plan for it all.
Right. Like, you know, that you don't have to worry about it at this moment, that you can be more in the present and be more in the moment, knowing that that's going to be taken care of just at a different time, like because of those systems in place.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, like, did you have experience with it before, like with systems, like before you became a mom or before, or like, how did you even like come to that, like, you know what, this is what I need moment?
Yeah. That's a really great question. My dad was really great at doing systems, and I would like to think I inherited this gene that it helps with that, but I don't really know that is a thing.
If that's really a gene.
Yeah, I just kind of made that up, right? I don't, and I wouldn't say that I had great systems in place before, but I didn't really think I needed them. The joy of that chaotic moment in life when I kind of hit rock bottom and was thrown into the deep end with all these children that were so young and all these special needs and all the things going on, I was forced to like have to organize things. And that was such a gift for me, because now all those things are in place, and I feel like I'm freer than I ever was without systems, with much fewer children. And like, we had such a light load then. Mm-hmm. And yet now I feel more free and more like I can do things that I enjoy and really pour into the things that I want to pour into. So
was your family on board?
Like my immediate family?
Yeah, like your family, like the kids and your husband, like were they all like just on board? And
yeah, I think that I've been
accepting
shyly
of it,
stepping into this role, like I think starting my own business, it's like, I just kind of started and maybe I'll have a few clients, maybe whatever. So I feel like it's just kind of been a slow process of rolling it out. And the longer I do it, the more confident I am in who I am as a person and how, yes, this actually works. And yes, it's actually helping people. And so I think that's been, I feel proud of how that's shaped me and what I'm showing to my kids in that regard.
How do you think that, or how do you suppose your kids benefit from the systems?
Yeah. I have no doubt that they will be better roommates, that they'll be better spouses when they grow up, that they'll be better students. Everything that we implement here, like with teamwork and really looking out for others and considering others more important than yourself, and all of these things are great service leadership things, great just person responsibility, kind of boundary work. I want them to go off to college and I want them to be the best stinking roommate ever, for them to know how to keep their space clean, for them to know how to take care of themselves and their bodies, and to be thoughtful of others and what they need. So I feel like a lot of the things that we have in place, they may not seem like big things, like us all doing our jobs at one time. Right. May not seem like that big of a deal, but our goal there is to teach them teamwork, that we all need each other and we all are working together as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that team, like, how can we begin to create that team mentality in our households?
I think as moms, we are in charge of definitely creating that. As the primary stay-at-home person, I am making up, that I could be very wrong about that, but for our family, I know that that's my reality. And I know that that's kind of my job, is to create this oneness and unity in our family. And of course, I have a husband that helps, that one. But I feel like the main part of that falls on me. So we are constantly talking about teamwork. When we do things together, it makes things go faster. So the faster we get this done, the faster we can go play. If you're not doing your job, I'm wanting to always show them that what they do matters to everyone else. So like my daughter, if she doesn't unload dishes, because that's her job, then Noah can't load the dishes and I can't clean the kitchen because all those things haven't been done. And so just kind of showing the ripple effects of you and what you do matters. And we need you on this team. So I'm just kind of trying to constantly infuse that into every little thing, and then relying on them and not coming alongside and like doing it for them of like, she hasn't done it, so I guess I'll do it.
Sure.
No, I need you to step up and do your job.
Yeah. Before you had your systems, did you find that most of it fell on you?
Absolutely. It did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where most, like a lot of moms are at this point, like feeling so, which is why systems are so beneficial.
Absolutely.
So what do
It's
you
not
do with
good
the time
for,
that, like, do you feel that you've created more time, like to do other things? And like, what are those things that you've been doing?
yes, absolutely. Um, I mean, doing this business is a huge piece of that.
Okay.
Our
Okay. You
three,
started business. Yeah.
yeah. Our three little buddies that we adopted have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, um, which is kind of a beast of a disorder. I would love for your listeners to look it up and educate themselves on that, because it's huge and a good chunk of our population is affected by it, and we're kind of clueless about it. So I'm working right now with some clinicians to try to get a clinic started in Texas. So sorry. And so we've been working to create a diagnostician area and support area for the families, because there's a lot of behavior stuff that goes along with that. And then long-term support and research and education and all of those things. And so I have a big vision of creating that clinic. And so I've slowly work on that. And that really gets me excited, because I know that as adopted moms, often we are told that if you do X, then X will happen. Like, so if you attach in a certain way, then this will happen. Your kids are going to catch up developmentally and all these things. But we're not really given the training that if your child is brain damaged from alcohol exposure, which 70% of kids in foster care are, then there's brain damage and you are not responsible for that. That doesn't fall on you. So you're not doing anything wrong. Let's equip you and show you what really is going on. And let's show you how we can put supports in place to help you. So that's what I get really passionate about. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, that's
Tangent there.
okay. That's okay. I love that you were able to create the space in your life to be able to pursue a passion.
Yeah, me too.
So what's your number one tip for families?
I think creating a plan. I think every mama needs a plan. You need a vision of where you want your family to go. I think often we get frustrated that things aren't falling in place how we want them to. And we're living such reactionary lifestyles. And so we're just kind of going from thing to thing, right? But we don't have a plan for how we really want it to look. Like, I know that I don't like this because I feel flustered and chaotic all the time, but I have no idea what I want it to look like or even how to make it happen. And so really sitting down with yourself and creating that vision of what you want your family to be like and how you want it to function and what you guys value and desire. And because I know I could probably say this a million times over, every mama, every family, every household is so different. Right. We are all so different. And so if I value eating organic food, that doesn't mean that you value that. And it's important for you to figure out exactly what you value and exactly what's important to you so that you can build systems around that.
So is that when you work with clients, do you usually work with the moms or do you work with the whole families? Or
I usually just work with the moms. It's kind of very much what I love doing. So
is that what you're like, you kind of start with is what's important to you and to get an idea of what systems that would work for them?
Yes. And then we kind of break down everything. So what is it that you're spending your time on? How can we kind of break down that reactionary lifestyle, figure out what things you're actually doing, and then let's eliminate, automate, and delegate those things out so they're off your plate. And then once those things are off, then you have room to prioritize and plan for the things that matter to you.
Sure. Okay. Do you have any big advice or any advice that you can leave listeners with?
Yeah, always ask for help would be my number one tip.
One of the hardest things for many moms to do, for sure.
Yeah, but it creates such a beautiful vulnerability and connection with other mamas and with your spouse and with your kids. And I mean, just all across the board, and just that humility that comes with it of knowing that you can't do it all by yourself. And it places you in that humble space where you can live fully in who you are. And I have found that living right there in that little humble space allows me to not be prideful and judgmental towards other mamas.
Right. So Laura, what do you do for fun? It's
It's just a lot
for
of
so
my-
long. Well, for so long that you're actually my first guest that I'm asking this out, because for 100 and something episodes, we've always went to like, what do you do for self-care? And so now I'm kind of leaning towards that. So I want to know, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, I love to like woodwork and
Do what?
to do woodworking.
Okay. Okay. So like, what do you make?
I'm not good at it,
That's
but I love
okay.
it and I have a blast doing it. So my newest project is I found a log outside that was already cut in half. Like we live on some acreage and somebody had like cut it at one point in time for firewood, but all the little worms had eaten in it. So there's all these little like nooks and crannies in it. And so I'm going to cut it and make it into a cutting board. And I'm really excited about it. I'm going to put like blue epoxy in it and shine it up. And it's going to be really cool. So
Fun. Okay.
things like that I'm like, it just is a cool piece that I want to do something with. So
All right. So do you have a book that you can recommend?
I do. I am kind of obsessed with Atomic Habits.
Okay.
I
James Clear.
feel like James Clear is like, the best. And his love of systems is, we kind of could geek out on that for a while, I think. And so it's just a book that I hands down recommend and think that it's life-changing. If you
I actually just had my son read it. One of my teenage son, he just got through it, and I was like, go subscribe to the email, because I think he has a great newsletter.
Yes, I'm with you. Yes.
So where can listeners find you?
At mamasystems.net. And I have a lovely little self-care guide that I know that you're going to put in the show notes that helps walk you through exactly how to create systems in your life for self-care, figure out what that is, and then create a plan for it, and then figure out how to ask for help in making that actually happen. So,
all right, awesome. I will go ahead and put that all in the show notes of today's episode. How about on social?
Mama Systems.
Okay.
Super simple.
Okay, sounds good. So to find Laura online, go ahead and check out today's show notes. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us your wisdom.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me. It was so fun.